Feels like a mic off the stand type of night, everybody. Feels like that kind of. Oh, it's actually morning. It's 1 in the morning here at the Tobin household studio. Just got back from Heat Pelicans. I got to my car at like 11:15ish after locker room brief media session today after there's only Jimmy and Bam to speak with everybody, which appreciate their time. And I am walking after editing the videos and all that type of stuff and posting Jimmy's comments, walking, and I'm seeing a bunch of people. Shout out to the boys from 5 Reasons. And I'm seeing everybody's like, yeah, we're not going out there. And I don't blame them. And I probably would stick around. I would have waited out the weather a little bit. Would have been smarter on my part. Because if you guys don't know, for our non-South Floridians who tune into the channel, I know there's plenty of you, and I appreciate you. So we have this thing that happens every single year. It's called Ultra, which is basically like EDM, rave music. People are high as a kite, Yogi, humping trees, glow sticks, doing Molly, sucking on pacifiers, the whole deal, right? They have things like this in Vegas. They have these. I got stuck behind a damn neon truck that was advertising one in Orlando. But this is always a traffic disaster. Always. It is to a point where it even got moved to like an island for like a year. But it was now it's back. And I didn't even realize it. I was on vacation this week and I was like, oh, well, but I'm like, well, I'm covering that Pelicans game for sure. I got to see, the whole brouhaha that happened. That was the game I wanted to go to over the weekend. And then I realized, oh, it's Ultra. And I knew like this was going to be a headache. But then on top of it, just even if it was good weather, you knew it was going to be a pain in the ass. On top of it, there was tornadic activity all around South Florida today, flooding, awful rain, wind. So you see people are like, we're not leaving this building. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I got to get some kind of a head start because my ass lives in Lake Worth. So it was rough. It was rough on top of the fact that I had just watched just an awful performance by my favorite basketball team. They really were it was just putrid. It was so sad to see them be so offensively inept and something that we've seen that they are not a good offensive team. This has not been a good offensive team, but then on top of them not being a good offensive team, now you're not a good offensive team and you're playing backups. And then you're even standard bench guys today were just really, really bad. And the thing that really is crazy about it is I thought it got off to such a delightful start for me because it was like the Nikola Jovic show. And I love watching him go do his thing. And let me just say something about Nikola Jovic because we're going to talk a lot of negative and people being mad and things like that. This guy, he is such a delight at his age, 20 years old. He walks out there for warm-ups. He is smiling to everybody. He's saying hello to the ushers. He's giving autographs to the kids. He's high-fiving kids. The guy is just... You could just see he's just got that pro athlete shine right now. Like nothing's gonna get him down. And I genuinely thought like the basketball this guy played in the first quarter with his shot making, competing with Valanciunas, and his assists, just everything he was doing. He was doing so great for Miami, and then it all just really fell apart when Miami went to their first substitution, which I think was Jaime and Caleb. Oh, Caleb Martin, who had an ankle thing flare up, which is probably, should be noticed that Caleb Martin's been playing through thumbs. He's been playing through, I think the guy's been playing balls to the wall. And as much as he steps on the 3-point line, he's also been getting his leg trapped up by photographers under the basket So he was playing through something tonight. I do not think he was 100%. This was a Caleb Martin who looked very hesitant out there. This is coming off of a performance where he wasn't great either. And Caleb was in a bit of a role for the Miami Heat. So I don't know if there's something physically going on there, but he came in today and I mean, just everything. I mean, couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, dude. I mean, it was classic third little pigs, man. I mean, they were building a house out of bricks against the Pelicans, who went zone against Miami, packed that damn paint. They're like, we're not letting you in here. So the Heat aren't giving the ball to Bam. Bam's not getting involved. Instead, it's just giving it to name a person on the Miami Heat. Patty Mills, Jaquez, Caleb Martin. None of them could hit threes. It was crazy. DeLon Wright, name them. You could put anybody you want to throw. These are the people today that like these the 3-point numbers today, 13 of 47, and there was a little bit of Cole Swider window dressing there at the end. But dude, Patty Mills today, 0 of 4 from downtown. All right. Caleb Martin, 0 of 7 from downtown. Jaime Jaquez, 1 of 5 from downtown. DeLon Wright, 0 of 4 from downtown. Haywood Highsmith, 0 for 2. I mean, just rough, man. It was a rough. Dude, they basically put up 75 points today. You know, like they finished with 88 because there was a little white flag session of garbage time there. But like, as if 88's anything to write home about. But this team basically, with what they rolled out there today, 76 points, and it was just, it was a rough one, man. And it was like you got to the point where like you were getting carried by Nico in the first quarter, and then just like that, the Pelicans go on a run, get the lead, go up 21-20. And you're like, man, what the hell happened? The Heat, the Pelicans were throwing the ball all over the place. Brick City happened. That's what happened. And look, mind you, this was a Pelicans team that came in very fired up. All right, they lost last night to the Orlando Magic. They got stomped on. They lost Brandon Ingram. So you're like, all right, you should be coming in at home. You should be a little bit fired up. But these mother bleepers from New Orleans, they walked into this game today, and they did not forget Jimmy Butler's comments, where Jimmy Butler says, we're the better team. You know, flat out, we're the better team. And, you know, they played balls to the wall. You know, outside of Zion, they did a great job at it. Zion only had 4 points. Could you imagine a game where you have no Brandon Ingram, Zion puts up 4 points, and you really weren't even in it? Like, that's the kind of depressing that a performance like this is. You know, and it's, as I've been saying, this has been a theme in my videos after a lot. It's like, I don't want to sound like I'm not disappointed, because I definitely am. And I have big time concerns with them going into this postseason, because I, for one thing, don't think this team is very healthy at all. I have no idea when Tyler Hero is going to be back. I have no idea when Kevin Love's going to be back. Duncan Robinson is now dealing with a back issue. Bam has been banged up basically since the All-Star break. Now Jimmy Butler's dealing with a foot. Caleb Martin's dealing with an everything. And Jaime Jaquez is fully submitted to the rookie wall. You know, I was listening to Jaquez on JJ Redick on the way down to the game today, and they were asking him, like, what is the biggest challenge? And he was talking about, well, it's a lot of basketball, dude. And, you know, while Jaime was not saying he is submitted to the rookie wall, he also made it sound like, yeah, but I'm also dealing with when I got back from injury. It was tough to get back into a rhythm. And, man, he just doesn't seem like he's got a lot of confidence in that jump shot. You know, just remember, like, we saw a fresh Jaime Jaquez, mind you, conference rookie of the month the first 2 months of this season, and a man who just looked like he had a never-ending bag with his footwork, with finding his comfort zones, never feeling like he's sped up, and that is just not the guy who's on the court right now. This is a man who's definitely searching searching through some stuff. But you want to talk about coming into this, and you have your starting lineup that was all right, pretty intact. You had to start Patty Mills, who's just given the Heat absolutely. He is beautiful accent. Love the liner that he dropped for our radio show. This dude has given the Miami Heat squat since he has joined, and especially from downtown. I mean, if I were to tell you this man gave Miami Heat fans cold shiver nightmares for years for what he did in the 14 finals and to what he's bringing now, you would be like, no, you're a crazy old man. These are the young Heat fan who's like 20, right? And you're thinking to yourself, 20. So we're taking. So you were like a wee lad back 10 years ago, right? You're like 10 years old. Let's go back. All right, let's say the Heat fan was like 16, right? You're a teen Heat fan. So you were like a young kid. What do you remember about the Big Three era, right? You were 4, 5, 6 years old. And I tell you that this Australian sniper has haunted me with his proficient shooting for years. And now you got him on the Miami Heat many years later, obviously. And he cannot sniff making a three-point shot. Like, doesn't even look like he has the strength to get it there. It's rough, man. And this is what I'm saying, though. Like, what am I getting mad at? I'm getting mad at Patty Mills for not showing up. He's not supposed to be out there. Duncan's supposed to be out there. But then also, okay, so on top of it, you're searching. A lot of guys played for the Heat tonight. Spo got to the point where he actually threw Cole Swider out there because it was just getting so bad. And shout out to Swider, did his thing. But two guys off that bench who are for sure going to be contributors in the playoffs are Caleb and Jaime. And they were a combined 1 of 15 today. 1 of mother bleeping 15. The one was a make from 3 for Jaime. Just awful. And that is a concern I have because I really thought going into this thing, one of the things that excited me about this Heat team, we all talked about, well, we're deeper. That was the thing that said, well, we're deeper than last year. That's what a lot of people from the Heat organization were throwing out there. Well, not with Jaime playing like this, you're not. You're not. You were hopeful that this guy was going to be something special for you, and maybe he will be. I don't know. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm just saying we haven't seen that guy consistently for a while. It's been a while. With Caleb, Caleb, I don't have as many concerns with him. He'll go through his little slumps, but he can bring that energy and steal the ball 4 times and cause just absolute havoc. And I'm going to give Caleb Martin a pass. Caleb Martin's thrown up a couple of stinkers. We typically know that guy's going to bounce back. But Jaime, you don't know. He's a rookie. These are always interesting concerns. We're still learning about if Tyler Hero can be a consistent playoff performer. So I've gone in a lot of different directions today. I'm a little scatterbrained. You'll excuse me. It was an hour and 45-minute drive home for me today. Most of it wasn't driving, though. Most of it was just sitting in traffic, because this is such a great city for us figuring out how to get through situations, especially in nasty weather. So as far as the other thing, the one thing I'll always say that does frustrate me about this, though, with the Heat, and this is a Bam and Jimmy type of deal. It just always gets me. It'll always drive me nuts that in a game where the Heat cannot buy a bucket to save their life, I'm all for, hey, you make the right basketball play. You throw it out to the open guy. But if that open guy is old or cold, maybe the stars should take it upon themselves every once in a while to get a little selfish. And Jimmy there was a point where Jimmy got to, what was it? Jimmy was like 8 minutes into the game, into the second quarter, he hadn't taken a shot yet. It was like, yeah, his first shot was like 8 minutes left in the freaking second quarter before he took his first field goal attempt, and it was a 3. Missed it. That just can't happen in a game. When you're sinking like that, to not have either one of those guys grab the wheel for a little bit, I get it. You guys are unselfish two-way stars. I need you guys to be a little bit more selfish and go if you're going to go down firing with your best guy. You can't go down firing with Patty Mills. That's just insane. And there was actually a point, this is interesting. So Udonis Haslem was there tonight, and Udonis was sitting with the Arisons. He was sitting with Mickey and Nick Harrison, dressed to the nines. He was suited and booted because he's an executive. You know, he is the vice president of player development. He's an executive role now with the Miami Heat, as he deserves. And so the Heat were doing this cool thing at halftime where they were giving away scholarships, and so Udonis is there with Heat president of business operations Eric Woolworth and Michael McCullough and some other Carnival execs I did not recognize. But UD was there, and UD gets a big applause and all that. So UD is on the floor after the ceremony, because the ceremony went kind of long. So the players are still out there, and UD is like going up to he goes up to Caleb Martin. He goes and has a little talk with Caleb Martin. He then peruses on over to, I think, Cole Swider. But then, Jimmy is off shooting some threes. And, he gives some words to Jimmy. And it was an animated conversation. It didn't seem like mad at each other or anything. But it was like, it felt very much, I'm not a lip reader, but it seemed very much like, hey, let's get this puppy going. And, to whatever was said there, Jimmy did come out of the gate in that second half and started attacking more. Jimmy did get to the free throw line 7 times. It was just very frustrating. And this Pelicans team very clearly wanted this matchup, and they're a good team. It's not like the Heat lost, but second night of back-to-back, the Heat have not been very good at home. But you had this, there were these moments. It always felt like this was a weird thing. Like I would watch this third quarter where things were like getting to double digits, but then the Heat would get a couple of weird plays that would just kind of get them going. Like Thomas Bryant hitting a couple threes and cut the lead to 10. And then Jimmy, had this Jimmy would have a steal and an one, and you'd be like, all right, maybe we're starting to get going here. Maybe we're starting to roll a little bit. Maybe you're gonna get things going. And just be like, nah, whatever would happen, like CJ McCollum would hit a big time 3, or Najee Marshall, who definitely rubbed Jimmy's face in it on Twitter and then deleted the tweet as if we all didn't see it because the Pelicans official account retweeted it. And they were all peacocking, apparently, reportedly. I was in the Heat locker room, so I don't know, but they were all reportedly peacocking and laughing at Jimmy Butler about the we're the better team thing. Jimmy Butler, this was him after the afterwards, talking about the froggy Pelicans.
Jimmy, from their coach to some of their players, they said they were fueled by your comments, obviously, in the immediate wake, saying you were the better team. Their social media had some fun with it. How much do you think it might have added fuel to the fire, sort of knowing how the NBA is played?
I don't know. That's the question. I hope it added fuel to the fire. That's fine. They had a great game plan. They made shots. They came in here and stole one. But I'm gonna stick by what I said. We're still the better team. Can't win them all. We should have won that one. We damn sure should have, but we'll be all right.
West Coast game's got to be over by now, right? All right, so we should have a looky-loo at the standings. All right, so let's take a look. What do we got? The Cavs lost tonight. They got beat by the Timberwolves. The Sixers lost tonight to the Lakers. And the Pacers won over the Warriors. All right, so let's take a look right now. Heat are still in the play-in, 7th. Same record as the Sixers, who they have the tiebreaker over. Game back in the loss column to the Pacers. They play the Cavaliers on Sunday. But what are we talking about? We're 70 games in, man. So 12 games left. And, you're 4 back of a 4-5 spot right now, and I don't think 3-6 is the worst spot to be in for the Heat, like if they got into a series with Cleveland. But this is eerily similar to last year, where I thought for sure there's no way the Heat are going to finish behind the Nets for a play-in spot, and yet somehow, somehow it ended up happening. So this was, and the Heat, oddly enough, this is another thing that's crazy. The Heat fell to 17-16 at home. Just not a good home team. 21-16 on the road. Not too shabby. 21 wins on the road is the second most in the conference. Because, I'm looking right now. Boston, most road wins in the Eastern Conference, 24. And then Heat and Cleveland both have 21. Nobody else has 20 in the Eastern Conference. But yet, at home, stink. Or very mediocre. But against good teams, stink. Odd thing. Very odd thing. Jimmy talked a little bit about this after the game, too.
Jimmy, what's sort of to say about the home record? I know it's like 17-16, I believe, on the floor. Is there a singular point to that, or is it just,
Home or away, we got a job to do. I don't think anybody's scared to come here and play us. I don't think anybody's scared to play us on the road either. Hopefully the coming games we figure it out. We put our heads down and get to work, because we definitely got to start winning if we want to be where we want to be.
Jimmy, outside of winning with this last dozen games before the playoffs, what are the, I think, most important things for your team?
Win. Simple.
So there we go. Heat lose. I was wet and cold because of the rain and the heat. They were just cold from shooting. So I guess we'll hope the weather's better tomorrow and do some Molly and hump a tree. I don't know what'll make us feel better, but it certainly wasn't the basketball tonight.